Good evening and welcome to the Thursday, July 16th, 2026 annual organization meeting of the Greenburgh Central School District Board of Education. Calling the meeting to order at 6:39 p.m. If we could all rise and say the Pledge of Allegiance. There's a flag over there. Okay, our first order of business is the oath of office. The results of the May annual election resulted in 2 trustees being re-elected. The first is Aaron Jacobson. If you could please stand and raise your right hand. Do you solemnly swear to support the Constitution of the United States, the Constitution of the State of New York, and that you will faithfully discharge the duties of trustee for the Greenburgh Central School District?
I do.
Thank you very much. I'll have you sign a book shortly. Trustee Tracy C. Mayers, could you please stand and raise your right hand? Do you solemnly swear to support the Constitution of the United States, the Constitution of the State of New York, and that you will faithfully discharge the duties of Board President for the Greenburgh Central School District?
It's okay. We do it. It's fine.
Excuse me. I rescind that. Do you solemnly swear to support the Constitution of the United States, the Constitution of the State of New York, and that you will faithfully discharge the duties of trustee for the Greenburgh Central School District?
I do.
Okay, at this time, we will be electing the president of the Greenburgh Central School District Board of Education for the 2026-27 school year. Okay. Before I take nominations for the office of president, I would just ask that you raise your hand so that I can call upon you, since I'm also taking minutes of this meeting. In the event that a candidate is unopposed, Robert's Rules of Order states that an election is not required. The floor is now open for nominations. Trustee Warner?
I nominate candidate Trustee Tracy Mayers.
Are there any further nominations? There being no further nominations, nominations for the office of Board President are now closed. There being only one candidate for the office of Board President, Tracy C. Mayers is declared president for the 2026-27 school year. I'm coming over to swear you in. Okay.
Thought it was
Could you please stand and raise your right hand?
Thank you.
Do you solemnly swear to support the Constitution of the United States, the Constitution of the State of New York, and that you will faithfully discharge the duties of Board President for the Greenburgh Central School District?
I do.
Thank you. I now turn the meeting over to the newly elected president.
Thank you very much. Next on the agenda, we have item A5, election of the vice president. The floor is now open for nominations.
I nominate Trustee Julia Long.
Is there a second?
Second.
Thank you. It's been properly moved in second. Are there any further nominations? Being that there are no further nominations, nominations for the vice president are now closed. There being only one candidate for the office of vice president, Julia Long is declared vice president for the 2026-2027 school year. Julie, please stand for your oath of office. Please raise your right hand. Do you solemnly swear to support the Constitution of the United States, the Constitution of the State of New York, and that you will faithfully discharge the duties of the Board Vice President for the Greenburgh Central School District?
I do.
Okay, great. Congratulations. Okay, next item on the agenda is A6, Board of Education Code of Ethics, Policy 1110.E. Each board member has a copy of it. So there's 10 points here for the Code of Ethics. We're all going to go around as a group and read them. And then at the bottom, I'm going to ask for you to sign them, put the date, and pass them down to our district clerk. We're going to have you start, Trustee Mans, and you can start with the first sentence and read number 1, please. Is your mic on? Make sure everyone's mic is on.
As a member of my Board of Education, I will strive to improve public education, and to that end, I will remember always that my first and greatest concern must be the educational welfare of all students of the school district.
Number 2, observe the regulations and policies of the school system and the laws, rules, and regulations governing education in New York State.
Number 3, attend regularly scheduled board meetings and study the issues to be considered at those meetings, and attend additional meetings as necessary. The regularly scheduled meetings of the GCSD board are generally held on the first and third Tuesdays of each month, but the actual schedule will be delivered to all board members in advance and will be posted on the GCSD website.
Number 4, focus board action on policy-making, planning, and evaluation, and on ensuring the prudence and ethics of the district's operation, and recognize that the superintendent, not the board, is responsible for the day-to-day administration of the district.
Number 5, recognize that the board functions only as a board through duly adopted policies and actions approved at public sessions, that individual board members have no authority to act on behalf of the district or the board.
Number 6, render all decisions based on the available facts and independent judgment, and refuse to surrender that judgment to individuals or special interest groups.
Number 7, encourage the free expression of opinion by all board members and seek systematic communications between the board and students, staff, and all elements of the community.
Trustee Mans, please read number 8.
Number 8, become informed about current educational issues by individual study and through participation in programs providing needed information, such as those sponsored by state and national school board associations.
Number 9, support the employment of those persons best qualified to serve as school staff and insist on regular and impartial evaluation of all staff.
Number 10, communicate to other board members and the superintendent expressions of public reaction to board policies and school programs. Trustees, please sign your code of ethics and pass down to our district clerk. Thank you. We're just waiting for Adania's. Okay, next item on our agenda is our introduction of our student ex officio members. Several years ago, it was an idea to have students on the Board of Education so that we have student voice in the top, thank you, governance positions, which set policy for the entire functioning of the school district. And it was an option. This board decided to put that option into play, and we have had student ex officio board members every single year. Last year, New York State mandated that school boards have school board ex officio members. And so, once again, Greenburgh was ahead of the curve, which is awesome. Tonight, we have 2 of our school board members, ex officio school board members here. Please come up. We have Brianna Barnes and Josiah Betts. Please come up. We're going to ask you to introduce yourself. Great. The podium is up there. Please come to the podium and tell us a little bit about yourself. Our student ex officio board members will be at all of our regular scheduled meetings, and they will participate in the policies discussions and the discussions that the Board of Education has on very important topics. They are actual customers, and so their voice is very important.
Hello, everyone. My name is Brianna Owens. I'm a rising junior, and I'm the junior ex officio member. I'm a member of my class's student council, a captain of the flag football team, a member of No Place for Hate Club, and a youth flag football coach. I love participating in things that really bring my community together. I'm looking forward to representing the junior class and working together with this amazing board to improve the school conditions. And I'm very honored to be in this position. Thank you all very much.
Thank you, Ms. Owens.
Good evening. My name is Josiah Betts, and I am a rising junior. I'm involved in many activities, both in and outside schools, such as playing for the Woodlands baseball team and the football team, and also being in the Woodlands Drama Club and being in a few National Honor Societies for the Woodlands Middle High School. I enjoy taking on leadership and opportunities that help me grow while making a positive impact on others. I'm interested as serving in an ex officio student member because I want to represent my peers, help share ideas, and support the goals of our organization. I'm looking forward to collaborating collaborating with everyone and learning from experienced leaders and contributing to a positive and welcoming environment. And I am excited for the opportunity to grow as a leader while helping making a difference for Woodlands High School.
Wonderful. Thank you, Mr. Betts. And just so everyone is aware, both Brianna Owens and Josiah Betts are juniors. So this is more of a 2-year appointment. And so get to know their faces. They will be around. We do have 2 additional ex officio members who are seniors but not able to make it this evening. That's Chloe Fuentes and Armida Mojaza. Okay, thank you guys so much. Thank you. You can go or you can stay. It's up to you. It's the first meeting. Okay, thank you. And they will be working as well with the superintendent over the summer. There are trainings that New York State School Board Association has, and I think also I don't know if it's the State Ed Department or NYSED, New York State Ed has for student ex officio members. So they will be very busy. Next on our agenda is an introduction of new hires. And we are hiring people over the summer, but we are going to save September meeting to meet all of the instructional staff that we have. However, there was a big change in the district with our PR. We switched over to our Rockland BOCES contract, and we approved that in June. And we have our public relations specialist here. I have not met her yet, so I don't know. Oh, there she is. She's waving. Please come up and come to the mic and tell us a little bit about yourself. Her name is Miss Emily Neary. She is with us full time. She's going to come up, tell us a little bit about herself, and any staff or families and students that see Miss Neary, they'll know who she is. Hello.
Hello. Nice to meet you all. I'm Emily Neary. I'm an employee of Rockland BOCES, part of the Rockland BOCES Communication Service. And I'm just... Oh, sorry. Hello. I'm just starting here in Greenburgh, but I've been with the Rockland BOCES Communication Service for 3 years. I was previously in the East Ramapo School District in Rockland, supporting them in terms of their academic and athletics, social media storytelling primarily. So mostly what I'm here to do is help tell the stories of what's going on inside the Greenburgh Central School District. My hope is to be able to get to zoom in on some of the actual day-to-day classroom learning, the students working hard, the staff and teachers working really hard, and the great balance of academics, arts, and athletics that we have here and that I'm excited to get to know more about. I am here 5 days a week, full-time. I've got a desk right over there across the hall. So I'm in this building, and if you see me around, you're more than welcome to make any direct requests. You can email me. I'm always here. My main goal is I just want to tell the stories of this district and get them out to as wide an audience as possible.
Thank you. Any questions, comments, trustees? I don't want to... No? Okay. Well, thank you.
Thank you, everyone.
And next item on our agenda is B1, anticipated adjournment to the executive session. Can I get a motion, please?
I move that we adjourn to executive session to discuss collective bargaining negotiations, the employment history of particular persons, personnel matters and/or employee records, and matters deemed confidential by state or federal law, including seeking advice from counsel.
Second.
It's been properly moved and seconded. Is there any discussion? No? Hearing none. All those in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? Any abstentions? Motion carries. We're now out to executive session at 6:55. I'm hoping we can return soon. 8 o'clock, 8:30. It's a good goal? Okay. Wonderful. Thank you. So we're going to go live. We have 4 trustees. We're back from the executive session, and we have item C, annual organization meeting approvals. Can I get a motion, please?
I move that we approve the appointment items presented to the board for approval this evening. Now wait, there's a note here that says item D11, district-wide school safety team will need to be amended due to the fact trustee names will be needed to added to after resolution after discussion.
Second.
It's been properly moved in second. Is there any discussion?
So let's look at item D11. It is page 12.
There were some question marks listed for the board trustees.
Right. I want to be on the district-wide safety committee. Do other people?
Is the
There's a blank here, right? We're just filling in this blank.
Oh, the question is which trustee is
Which
going to be?
trustees, and then
So
we can-
you're volunteering to
I'm
serve?
volunteering, yes, one of them.
Trustee Jacobson? You're nodding.
I would also like to continue on that committee.
Do we need 2 trustees? 3?
I was on it this year, and I would love to be on it again this next.
How many trustees do you need?
You can have a maximum of 3.
And so we have 3 volunteers. Is everyone okay with that? We have 3. We have trustee Long, trustee Warner, trustee Jacobson. Dr.
I'm
Chisholm?
waiting for Ms. Merrill, who oversees that work, to, are you on the same page?
So it's a district-wide safety plan. 3 trustees have volunteered to serve on that committee. Okay, great. So is there any more discussion? Hearing none. All those in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? Any abstention? Motion carries. Next, we have annual appointments. Item D, can I get a motion?
I move that we approve the authorization items presented to the board for approval this evening.
Second.
It's appointments. Can you clarify for me, please?
We just did appointments. Now we're on to item 2, authorizations.
So I initially did the annual organization meeting approval, C, and then I did D, appointments. And that's what the motion I asked for?
The initial motion that trustee Warner made before the discussion about item, I believe D11, about the district-wide safety plan item, was for the appointment section.
Right, but there was not a motion to pass the appointments. The motion was in item C, wasn't it?
C1.
C1.
Right, it was
So I did a-
C1.
So we read appointment
You made the
items.
motion. Is there a motion for D?
I move that we approve the
Authorization?
authorization items presented to the board for approval this evening.
Second.
Okay. When are we, okay. It's been properly moved in second. All those in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? Any abstentions? Motion carries. That's F, authorizations. Where is the resolution for the annual appointments? Which is item D, as in dog.
That was the first motion we made.
That was the first one we did.
I thought that you didn't make, maybe I'm tired, so, but you didn't make a motion for C, authorization items.
That's what we just
It-
approved.
C is an overall category that subsumes all these
Oh,
top-level
okay.
motions.
You know what, let me open my
So there's no-
computer.
there's no-
Okay, I'll go through the
There's no
computer so I don't
content
get
under,
lost.
except this collection of motions.
It includes items D,
President Maris,
F, and G.
Yes?
if I can also ask the trustees to be sure to speak into the mic. It is really hard for everyone to hear because of the fans, so I really encourage everyone to put their mouth as close to the mic as possible. Thank you.
Okay, where am I? Oh.
Designation items.
Thank you. I can see better now on the computer. So C has all of our, thank you. So can I get a motion for items F, which are also C4, excuse me, C3, designation items?
I move that we approve the designation items presented to the board for approval this evening.
Second.
Thank you. It's been properly moved in second. Any discussion? Hearing none. All those in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Any abstention? Motion carries. C4, which is also G, determinations. Can I get a motion?
I move that we approve the determination items presented to the board for approval this evening.
Second.
It's been properly moved in second. Any discussion?
Yes.
Yes, trustee Long, discussion?
I have one. Did you have one?
I do.
You have the same discussion. Discussion?
Yeah, go ahead.
Item GF, there's been some question about the hours of the fitness center.
That was G4. You said F.
G4, sorry, I'm tired. G4, the fitness center hours are listed here as 4:30 to 7. Now, in our draft, it said 3 p.m., so I know some trustees had feedback about that. It now says 4:30.
So, yes, the draft said 3 p.m., I see 4:30 now, but nothing else changed in the wording. So does that mean that students can still go before 4:30?
For students, yes. That was done because of athletics, those type of things, and the concerns with the students mixing with members of the community. That's the time of the last bus. That would be the time that would open up for the community to utilize.
Any other questions? No? So we're going to now convene into our regular meeting. We have presentations and yes?
What, did we say aye?
Oh, I did not. All those in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? Any abstentions? And that's for the determination. Now we're going to convene the regular meeting. We are in section I, which is presentations and public comments. Are there any public comments, Trustee Valen? No, thank you. Trustees, if you do not mind, I'd like to do item I4, which is a presentation on the RECOVS grant and Tier 3 clinical support, since we do have staff here to do the presentation, and then we'll come back to the district-wide safety plan and the code of conduct. No?
No objection.
Oh, they're doing both. Okay, I'm sorry. So let's start with the code of conduct and then move to the RECOVS grant. So I3 and then I4. Is that okay? All right. Thank you. Oh, we need to move. Okay. We're moving. Thank you.
Just making sure the mic works, okay. Good evening, Board of Education, Dr. Chisholm, colleagues, and the Greenburgh community. My name is Audrey Cabell. I am the Director of Special Education and Pupil Personnel Services, and I will be presenting information regarding the annual Code of Conduct meeting. So I'll share feedback that was received from our stakeholders and highlight this year's proposed revisions, and discuss our next steps with the help of Dr. Njoku, who will present the next steps. So before we begin, we want to make sure that the presentation is accessible for all members of our community and for anyone viewing the presentation on YouTube. This presentation is available via closed caption. My apologies. Via closed caption, and there is a translation feature that is available after the broadcast. Si está viendo esta presentación vía YouTube, puede activar los subtítulos y seleccionar el idioma de su preferencia. La traducción al español está disponible mañana. So everything we do centers around our vision, mission, and motto, and our tagline, Soaring Together for a Greater Greenburgh. So as required every year by the New York State and our Commissioner regulations, which dictates that every year we have to perform an annual review of our code of conduct. We want to make sure that we have voices that were heard, so we did have stakeholder involvement in this. And again, like I shared before, we will provide next steps as to what's going to take place. But I do want to share some of the information that was shared with us. So our objectives for today is to really explain the purpose of the code of conduct, what we want the code of conduct to reflect, share the stakeholder feedback, share draft revisions of the code of conduct, character, and community, and again, the next steps. So at its core is the purpose of the code of conduct, which is to establish clear expectations for the behavior, while creating a school environment that's safe, respectful, and conducive to learning. We want to make sure that there is clarity in the code of conduct so that students, staff, and families understand what is expected. It establishes accountability when expectations are not met, and it helps to ensure that those expectations are applied consistently. We want to make sure that we ensure a safe and respectable school environment, have a positive climate, and make sure that, number one, learning is happening in our buildings. So the goal for the 26-27 revision and beyond is what we have been calling, what we want to do is falconize the code of conduct. And what does that mean? That means that we want to make sure that we are truly reflecting the values of Greenburgh, which is our students, our community, our families, our staff. And we envision this framework in 3 areas, which is conduct, character, and community. So sharing some of the stakeholder feedback, we had 3 sessions. We had 1 session with the parents in the community, and some of the bright spots that were shared during the conversation was that the draft is thorough and aligns with New York State requirements, and it includes a clear student dress code, cell phone policy, and critical student supports. There's support for renaming the Code of Conduct to the Code of Conduct, Character, and Community, which reflects a more inclusive community-centered approach. There was a strong focus on preventative. What was shared was that there is a strong focus on preventative actions, engaging activities that build a sense of belonging in our schools, and modeling attributes that lead to student success. And there was a broad appreciation that most of the staff is already trained in responsive practices. So there were plenty of opportunities for growth that were mentioned during this session, which is focusing on tightening the document and making it more age appropriate for our little ones and our students at R.J. Bailey. The high school was also mentioned, making it more user-friendly for them. That we should have consideration for implementation of student IDs for entry and building security to ensure that staff explicitly refers to, or staff is explicitly referred by all of the staff, so making sure that we're inclusive of all of our aides, our food service staff, and security. Right now, that's not explicitly said in the Code of Conduct. Improve the timeliness of notification, notifying parents regarding any disciplinary actions was mentioned. The incorporation of recent board policies and updates, review of the charts, and place text directly on the school website. So some mentioned that it was hard to find within the website. They wanted it more prominently placed in the website. So the second group of stakeholders that were that we met with, the secondary school staff, which is the staff here in this building in Woodlands. And the bright spots that they mentioned were a commitment to restorative practices, an alignment to the social emotional learning that's happening throughout the district, a commitment to equity and inclusion. There was a reference to DASA, the idea of progressive discipline, and that it's student-focused, emphasizes the relationship building that's happening, and recognition of all students, and students, including students with disabilities. Again, opportunities for growth were mentioned, and I'll just briefly bullet point some of them. There was conflicting and inconsistent information between the narrative and the rubric. So, for example, in the narrative portion, there was reference to detention. So detention was mentioned for grades 4 through 6, but in the rubric at the end, detention was mentioned for grades 7 through 12, not necessarily just for 4 through 6. So just having more consistency throughout the document. So that way we had to check throughout the document to make sure that was included. There was mention of the document, some grammar, formatting, spacing, things like that. And make sure that, again, all staff was included, so a consistent message from the parent group and also from the group of staff members. Simplifying the language, again, another consistency, making it more age appropriate. There was a conversation of handbook versus code of conduct. So some buildings are giving out handbooks and some are just utilizing the code of conduct. So making sure there's more consistency throughout the district with that. Clarity on the progressive discipline in specifically maybe the rubric area. And again, the length of the document being more accessible for students and families. The document is currently over 100 pages. So that's a lot for our families to have to read and our students also. So the last group was students, and we met with students, and our conversation with the students really revolved around the dress code, because that was one of the areas that we were going to focus on for the code of conduct. So there were bright spots with the students. The students recognized the importance of the dress code and supports safety, professionalism, and a positive learning environment. Strong consensus on clothing that's with offensive language or images and visible garments should not be allowed in the school. And the students demonstrated thoughtful engagement and willingness to balance the school expectations with the personal expression. So growth for opportunity. So one of the major things is hats. They want to wear headgear. So that was a topic of conversation, that the students want to be allowed to wear specific headgear, and it's not just for those who have religious beliefs or medical needs. There was also explore alternatives to sending students home for dress code violations, such as providing appropriate replacement clothing to keep students in class. So we thought that was really thoughtful of them to think of something like this as well. So some of the key revisions in the Code of Conduct, Character, and Community, or the dress code, and if you reference pages, you would reference page 27 to 28. There, we made some updates to the dress code policy to promote equity and consistency. Cell phone use was also added on pages 15 and 16 of the document. Remote learning expectations on pages 18 and 19. And other information that was added to the document was the portrait of the graduate, which can be found on page 7. We fixed grammatical and spelling errors throughout the document, updated based on district policy or education law. We did note that in the document when it's referencing an ed law, we made sure to reference the ed law. And we changed guidance counselor to school counselor. So I am going to ask Dr. Njoku to come up for next steps.
No problem. So what's important to note when you take a look back, I think, at these key revisions is that there might be others. So this document will be available. It's already available, I believe, now on the on board docs, and we want to make it available, more easily available on the district site. When we spoke about revisions to the policy and education law, there might be some things that have been recently approved in terms of policy, et cetera, that needs to be looked at as well. So this is the time we will need feedback. So the draft revisions have happened over the course of this year, and just remember that this is an annual revision, so the expectation is not that the entire document is redone. We identify key areas of need, we address it, and then we will have to do this again. This is why this is an annual revision. July 16th is today, so this is our public hearing. It's to provide transparency, comply with law, and just make sure the public is aware. As of today, through August 16th, community can provide feedback. The reason we give this time frame is so that afterwards, we will have sufficient time to do revisions so that the board can then, sometimes around September, October, be able to approve it because they need some time to review. There might be a little bit of back and forth after we get the feedback, giving us sufficient time to make those adjustments. Then it'll be presented to the board for approval during either September, October. The board will decide. And then we have to also now think about introducing the code. So it's not just about changing the code. Now we have to figure out how do we introduce this to students through leadership, through teachers, et cetera, so that students and their families are aware of the key changes. So community feedback is open today, July 16th, closes August 16th. You may submit written communications, comments, or any feedback by email to districtclerk@greenburghcsd.org, or you can mail it or personal delivery to our district clerk at 475 West Hartsdale Avenue, Hartsdale, New York. Are there any questions? Oh, hold on.
So thank you, Dr. Njoku. The board needs to open the hearing. Go ahead, what do you want to say?
I move that we open the public hearing on the code of conduct.
Why are you handing me this? Second.
It's been properly moved in second. Is there any discussion? Hearing, go ahead. Do you have discussion? Go ahead.
Discussion includes any questions from any attendees at the meeting, not just trustees. Yes.
Question? Oh, you want, okay.
Hi, I just want a brief comment. I know people have mentioned this, but I looked while you guys were in exec session for the current code of conduct, 2526, and under the parents tab, I found the 2425 code of conduct, and then on board docs, the 2526, which, because I know to look on board docs.
Mm-hmm.
I don't think I'm common. So every year when you change the code, or when you're reapproving the code of conduct, the website needs to be updated.
Yeah.
And it's the same with the district safety plan, that seemed to be okay. And when you have new personnel in your PPS department every year, we need that updated on the website. And your organizational chart needs to be updated. So this is what I did while I was waiting.
Yeah.
So just want to comment on that. And then the other thing is, when you introduce the code to district leaders and all of that, it's all for naught if people don't buy in and follow it. And I mean that about administrators, teachers, everybody. And so everybody has to be on board that they're going to follow it and enforce it. And when a parent shows them, oh, well, it says this and that in the code, the answer is going to be yes, this and that in the code, not, oh, we're not following that right now. Which is something maybe, I was told once. So that's all I'm going to say.
Thank you so much for your feedback. I do think, Dr. Chisholm, we can ask you, are the administrators going to be shown this new document in the month that this will be open? Will they also be able to give feedback? I'm sure you're working with the unions as well, so that the teachers, the administrators, the teachers, and the GCSO staff, so that everyone understands the document?
Everyone has the opportunity to give the feedback. That includes staff and faculty. We do have our administrators retreat in August, and it's not just the building principals, it's also the district level administrators. So updates like this are part of the administrators retreat that will be reviewed with our learning staff.
Okay. Dr. Njoku, did you want to say something? I feel like I cut you off.
Oh, no. I was saying that what you said is accurate, and that's why we spoke about earlier updating things. So we were aware of these updates needed and felt that this would be around this time. This summertime will be the time that we make updates to the website. But as Dr. Chisholm stated, it's available to everyone, specifically regarding leadership that was spoken to. They already have been notified of this timing. An email has been sent to all leadership around this so that they have additional opportunity to provide feedback.
And I also want to say, someone can correct me if I'm wrong, but I think that the board and superintendent want to build a culture of transparency, safety with accountability. So I do think that if folks are saying to you or to any parent or to any student, we're not doing that anymore, that should be shared with people so that we can address it, because it's very possible that someone may misunderstand part of it and that they don't believe they're doing it anymore, and we may need to address that. But it does need to be a culture of safety so that people feel comfortable enough to be honest and to say what's happening, and that it can be addressed in a way that is not punitive but corrective, and that this is what we're doing and this is how it should be done.
I do want to share that when we did meet with the various stakeholders and the parent group, that the same comments that you had were concerns with staff. There were concerns also with the parent group as well. Not so much the students, but because we only had the focus on the dress code. But that was mentioned. It did come up. And there was a lot of comments in regard to, us following the code of conduct. And a lot of it is the length of the document and us being transparent and making sure that maybe at the start of the school year where the school counselors go in and speak to the students about the code of conduct so that they have a deeper understanding of what the expectations are and not just leave it to families to just go over it, or when an incident happens is when they open up the code of conduct and review it. But that was mentioned. Also, the location of the code of conduct, like I mentioned on one of the slides, that was mentioned not only by staff members, but by parents. Where do we find this code of conduct and how many tabs do we have to click to actually find it? So this is all feedback, and we're taking it, positive feedback, where we want to make sure that we're making these systemic changes throughout the district.
Okay, great. Thank you. Are there any other comments, feedback, questions? Trustees? No? Okay. The public meeting is now open. So, I'm sorry, the public hearing is now open, so we have a month for that. And then you guys have a second presentation?
Yes, we do. So I'm going to jump right into the next presentation. Did you want to take this? So our next presentation focuses on what we call our RECOVS grant and what we did with our RECOVS funding and how we utilized it to support district-wide efforts. So RECOVS stands for Recovery from COVID, and this grant period was from 2024 to 2026. So the end of June was when we had to expend all of our funds and actually present to the BOCES what was done and how we utilized the funds. So again, everything's centered around our mission and our vision and motto and tagline. So I'm going to turn over the presentation to Dr. Heather Daig, who will present the first half of the presentation.
Hello, good evening. So I'm excited to share about the RECOVS grant. As Ms. Cabell said, it recently concluded after 2 years, and I participated in the grant from its beginning until its end. So I'm excited to share about the initiative and the meaningful impact it had on the Greenburgh community. To begin, the grant existed in response to the COVID-19 pandemic. The pandemic, as we know, created lasting impacts on student progress, achievement, mental health, and overall well-being. The RECOVS grant provided districts with resources to strengthen systems of support and promote long-term recovery. It was funded through New York State's $100 million RECOVS investment, and we participated as part of the Southern Westchester BOCES regional initiative, along with several other districts in the area. The main grant focuses included mental health and wellness and systems improvement. Oh, sorry. The grant sought to achieve these focus areas by building a comprehensive school mental health system for its participants. Broadly speaking, the key goals included development of comprehensive mental health systems, strengthening MTSSI systems, which I'll talk more about in a little bit, expanding access through partnerships, which included increasing availability of school-based mental health services through community collaboration, promoting safe and inclusive environments, and building sustainable systems of support. To achieve these goals, the grant offered extensive professional development to staff, including youth mental health first aid, trauma-informed practices, suicide prevention, restorative practices, and social-emotional learning. In addition to the professional developments that were offered, staff also engaged in multi-tiered systems of support integrated data labs to review student data and create systems, mental health educational leadership partnerships, and leadership meetings with BOCES staff to discuss initiatives occurring within the district, collaborative for academic, social, and emotional learning consultation and coaching, and SEL screening and data review with BOCES staff. A key focus of the work was family and community engagement centered on strengthening partnerships with families and community mental health providers, increasing equitable access to mental health resources and services, and supporting continuous improvement through collaboration and data-informed practices. So in addition to the learning and training provided that I just discussed on the previous slide, the grant also provided us with an amount of money to purchase and invest in SEL-related materials within the district that align to the RECOV goals that I discussed at the very beginning. So when it came to how we invested the money, we of course did the professional developments that I talked about. We also developed an SEL learning library featuring culturally responsive text for all students K through 6. We expanded our small group intervention and support environments in our Woodlands Middle High School building. We implemented Aaron's Law and Second Step Child Protection curriculum in all buildings. And finally, we constructed a school-based satellite mental health clinic space located in the special education and PPS department. Now that you have a better understanding of the RECOV's grant and how we invested our money, I want to take a moment and really focus on our multi-tiered systems of support integrated, or MTSSI, and what that means. So MTSSI is a proactive framework designed to support all students by aligning academic, behavioral, social, emotional, and mental health supports within one coordinated system. It is a general education framework and uses data-driven decision-making to identify students' needs and provide the appropriate level of support. The framework includes universal supports for all students, targeted interventions for students requiring additional assistance, and intensive individualized supports for students with more significant needs. The goal of MTSSI is to ensure every student receives the right support at the right time to promote academic success, well-being, and positive outcomes. MTSSI is not a special education support. It is separate from special education. So that was pretty jargony, so this slide kind of breaks it up a little bit more into what it actually is. So MTSS supports are broken into 3 tiers. You have Tier 1, which is your universal supports for all students, and you can kind of see the description below. You have your Tier 2, which is your targeted supports for some students, and then you have your Tier 3 intensive supports, which are for a very few students, but who might require a lot of resources in comparison to the rest. This slide here provides an example of what an SEL tiered support would look like. So like I said, SEL supports is one way you could do it. You could also have academic or attendance. This is an example of SEL. So at the very top, you see we have our universal supports within Greenburgh, our No Place for Hate initiative, our school-wide SEL instruction, our morning meetings, our advisory, which will be starting, all things that every student receives. In the middle, you have our targeted supports, which is our small group counseling, our SEL groups, students who might require check-in and check-out, mentoring, and then our Tier 3 intensive supports. It's those very few students who really need individualized supports. So the examples here are an FBA, a BIP, and maybe even a referral to our mental health clinic. To further discuss Tier 3 supports and school-based mental health clinic resources, I'm going to turn it back over to Ms. Cabell.
Okay, thank you. So as we were analyzing and reviewing this information, we looked at data and we spoke to our clinicians in the buildings, and also, heard from parents as well. And what we noticed after we reviewed the data was there's gaps, and the gaps could not be filled with just our clinicians alone. And for this reason is why we have put forth the school-based mental health supports. And what the research is telling us is that when we have the school-based mental health supports, it reduces the barriers for families. It's right here, it's right available for the school community. It reduces those barriers of transportation needs, scheduling, or even the stigma that goes along with obtaining any type of mental health supports. Students are more likely to receive the mental health supports that they need, and it's embedded within their school day and right in their school community. The integrated mental health services and supports, it improves student attendance, engagement, and academic outcomes and overall well-being. So that's just some of the reasons why. Okay, so again, from looking at the data and what's happening here in Greenburgh, and what Dr. Dagan and I noticed throughout the school year is that the mental health supports are needed. So we have students that have all types of needs here in district. And one of the most, and I'm going to say for me personally, pressing is the amount of students that we have in this district that are hospitalized. And once they are hospitalized, they come out of the hospital, and what is the level of supports that we have to offer them? And sometimes, like I said before, it extends beyond what our clinicians here in our school buildings can do. We have students that experience self-harm, eating disorders, substance abuse. They are in need of family counseling. I have parents that have called the department asking for extra assistance and maybe referrals to outside mental health supports for their child. A lot of students that have experienced trauma, and again, rise to the level of needing extra support that extends beyond the school community. So in this Tier 3 intervention or intensive support is where a referral would be made to the mental health clinic if needed. And so we've tried everything. We tried Tier 1, we tried Tier 2, we tried some of the Tier 3 interventions, so now it may be time for a referral. And this person would be right here, readily available to serve our students. And the RECOVs has supported our efforts financially with this. Okay, so not only is it something that's positive that we feel in the department, but it's something that's also being promoted by our governor and in New York State. She has spoken tremendously and made it part of her platform to help to strengthen school-based mental health resources for families, and making sure that we're increasing partnerships. Okay, so our school-based mental health satellite clinic, we're proposing that WJCS would be our community partner, and they have an expanse of access to mental health supports and services, again, that extends beyond our school community. The clinic will serve as an extension of Greenburgh Central School District's PPS department, and we will provide a dedicated space for a team to meet with students and families for counseling services, maybe family counseling services, and also can collaborate with some community-based mental health providers. The clinic will provide individual and group counseling services, crisis response when needed. They will also participate in our MTSS meetings when invited to attend. And we would like them to attend our meetings, throughout the district, so they can provide some insight that we might not be able to have readily available. So they can have that information for us to support us. They will have a system that will track referrals and the service utilization and the outcomes. right? So we have students that come out of the hospital setting, they come, they meet with counselors here. Again, they are tracked by our counselors, but they need more intensive supports. That's why a lot of our students that are in hospitals repeat and wind up in the hospital setting again. So also this initiative reduces barriers to access mental health care by providing the services right here in their school building. Okay, so this is AI. This is not what the space looks like. This is what we want the space to look like. So this is what we envisioned. The flex space is what we're calling it, to look like, where we do have, there is, comfortable seating for group or family counseling. There's also an area for meetings to happen. So not only when there's times that there's no counseling sessions, meetings can take place or training can take place in this space. We also have, it's not in this video, in this photo, but there's a desk on the side for the provider to have as well. But we also envision, maybe a contest or something, having the students, maybe our IB artists, draw a mural that represents what this space is. Is there anything you wanted to add to the space? Okay. Okay, so to date, Governor Hochul administration has expanded school-based mental health clinics, which helps get licensed mental health care providers in a familiar, again, stigma-free setting on school campuses. The state now supports 1,300 satellite clinics across New York, up from 872 in 2020. And covering 25% of New York state public schools. So in Westchester County, there's approximately 25 to 35 school-based satellite mental health clinic locations. Okay, and some of the clinics operated by organizations such as Westchester Jewish Community Services, the Guidance Center of Westchester, Andrus, but also some of our local neighboring school districts also have some clinics such as Eastchester, and we know Rye has a clinic as well. So there are neighboring districts that do have. Okay, so I will turn it over to Dr. Njoku to speak about just the cost comparison.
So the next few slides. Thank you. That's fine. Cost and role comparison. So what we were trying to do was anticipate potential questions so that we could provide these next few slides to answer them. So comparing the roles within Greenburgh and those of the role with a similar title from WJCS. So the Greenburgh Central School District school social worker supports students' success, right? Providing school-based counseling, crisis support, collaboration, connection to resources. So this individual is servicing all students across all tiers, as you saw with the MTSS, also providing services based on students' IEPs. And the typical cost average is around $110,000 per year for that particular person. Now, when we look at for the school-based mental health clinic, what we are receiving through this partnership is one full-time school-based clinical social worker and also a 0.5 family support specialist. So the social worker, again, as we spoke about, supports the Tier 3 students who have been referred for Tier 3 supports. And the family support specialist is a particular person. It's someone who has the experience of what the parents are encountering. So they have that experience to be able to provide that support. WJCS estimates that the social worker salary, not including benefits, $75,000, and then the 0.5 family support, $25,000, which totals about $100,000 per year for that. In addition, what we are provided because of the partnership is additional items like training, consultation, and collaborative support. So key distinctions, the school social worker provides the educational support, so we're just hammering this in, and school-based intervention, whereas the WJCS school-based clinical social worker provides the clinical mental health support and professional development. So they provide therapeutic treatment, crisis intervention, clinical consultation, but as we're speaking about the different tiers, it's moving towards tier 3 through a referral. The referral process is a document. They use a document that they use consistently throughout all the districts that they work with. This right here, just spending a little time on this in terms of cost. This is WJCS shared with us their budget estimates, and what we've done for here is summarize it. So personnel, that's inclusive of the social worker, the family support worker, the director that supervises them outside of the supervision that's being done with PPS. Child psychiatrist is included in personnel. That totals about $152,163. Then there's operating expenses, so other things other than personnel. That includes program supplies, laptops, transportation, mileage, things like that. That's going to be about $5,432. That's what they estimate. Then they have administrative overhead, which is about 15%. That's at $23,639. So their total expenses for supporting this district, our district, is $181,235. Now we take a look at their revenues. For clinical services, what they would receive through Medicaid, commercial, self-pay is about $111,823. So that means that they're at a deficit of $73,000. They do receive Office of Mental Health grant, which is about $25,000. District contribution that we will be contributing for this through 611, 619 grant monies. We would not be using our general funds for this, would be $50,000. So when we look at the expenses plus the revenue, they're estimating a little bit of a surplus. Again, these are estimates. So wanted to make sure that you were able to see that in terms of cost benefits with partnering. Ooh. Is there any more? Oh, there's more. I was anticipating that, but there's more. And I can always go back. Timeline. So this is important to understand, and we came to a better understanding of this as we were going through this process, partnership process. Today is July 16th. We're anticipating that there would be a Board of Ed approval of the contract. It's important to note that the contract is needed for WJCS to submit. They have gathered all the paperwork, prepared it. So we did communicate that they prepared everything else. What they need to add to that is the Board of Ed approval to say that we've agreed to partner with them and contribute the $50,000. As a reminder, that's being funded through grant funds. We don't know when the Office of Mental Health will approve. We've gotten good word that they would approve, but no one can guarantee that. We have estimates, but it's no point in communicating that since we're not sure. So that's to be determined. But once that happens, then following that approval, WJCS will now hire the staff, the 1.5 that we spoke about. And those conversations around introductions and such, that's when that would happen. We're estimating, we have to give a wide berth of time, semester one, sometimes between September and January. We went through these timelines with WJCS just to ensure that we were as accurate as possible. So we want to launch this, and in speaking with Dr. Chisholm, we want to make sure that there's clear communication to staff, introduction to buildings, building leadership, and then having some sort of opening of the space of some sort, a community invitation. I'm thinking this might be the last slide, but in all that we're doing, we're just, we're closing that this is a little sandwich from SOAR to this, that what we do is in line with our core beliefs and working towards building portrait, the attributes of a graduate. All right. Now we're open to questions.
Thank you so much, Dr. Njoku. Trustee Jacobson has some questions.
I have one. I've added my other ones to the list of questions that we've accumulated. So I'm not going to go through all of those things, but just something that the presentation, which thank you very much for this. It's very detailed. I appreciate it a lot. In terms of payment for WJCS, are clients paying WJCS themselves directly? Is that going through us? And are in the case of insurance and Medicaid, is WJCS managing all of that paperwork?
WJCS, when in speaking with them, they explained to us that that happens on their end. We only contribute the $50,000.
Okay, so we are not responsible for doing any of the legwork, paperwork
No,
stuff.
because it's as if the way that it was communicated to me, and please help me if I'm saying this right, is that the students would be referred. Let's say students would be referred anyway. Instead of going outside with that referral, it's now here for accessibility in the district.
Yes, it's my understanding with school-based mental health clinics, they still go through their intake process. So they would, so it's not going to be as simple as a student being referred. So a student will be referred, but the parent is still going to need to provide information like insurance information. They're going to need to sign consent forms, etc. And sometimes the school may make a referral and the parent does not follow through with that. So that can also happen. But once the parent does that with the clinic, then they go through their intake process and they bill, whether it's Medicaid or private insurance, for the services, correct?
Yes. So, and that's very true, and that's what happens, is we refer outside and then nothing happens. So hopefully by having the clinic here, we can reduce that barrier. Also, because this is Governor Hochul's essentially baby, she has reduced the barriers for the reimbursement through Medicaid insurance. So on the one slide, it did say 99% of insurances are now being accepted, which is through new legislation that was put forward by the governor's office, which WJCS was quick to point out to us, because like you said, it is tedious and paperwork, and that's why no student is turned away. And the services would be for Greenburgh students, and anyone over 18 obviously could consent. Anyone under 18 would have to have parental consent.
Can I ask a follow-up on that?
Oh, yeah.
So it sounds like a student who is a minor, who's under 18, cannot self-refer to the clinic without parent consent and support. So if a student is seeking care and does not have parent consent or is, for whatever reason, uncomfortable seeking consent, is that where we will also bolster that student with our PPS department that's in-house?
Yes, that's where the tiers of support come in. So that student will have already been supported by us. So it would be very rare for a student to jump to a tier 3 intervention without having the PPS support already supporting and our building-based team supporting.
I also want to, and I guess you guys should clarify for me, I guess IEP, which is different than a tiered support, an IEP can have counseling and psychological therapy services, correct?
An IEP can have that,
Can
but
have
it's
that.
not covered by the clinic at all.
So that's why I want to draw a
Yes,
very
there's a
clear
distinction.
separation, distinction between the clinic and therapy work, which is what we do for a profession, and what our school employees do
Correct.
in their counseling and supportive counseling sessions with patients around education.
Correct.
So there is even so, if a child tries to self-refer and get some mental health support and the parent will not sign, they cannot get that support. However, that may trigger, some sort of child protect, if it's a situation where a child needs help and is seeking help and the parent is refusing, there may be other steps that need to be taken, but it doesn't necessarily mean that the school counselors or social workers are going to do therapy
No.
with
No,
the student.
and the
'cause
school
they can't.
counselors and also the psychologists, they are mandated by the IEP, not the school-based mental health satellite clinic.
This is complementary, not supplementary.
Correct.
Yes. I saw tables with large numbers of chairs. I can imagine small group sessions with multiple students. Is there also, do you counsel families?
Yes, there will be family counseling if warranted. So we try to make the space as comfortable as possible and not look like a clinic, okay? And I say that with quotes. We wanted to make it comfortable, relaxed atmosphere for families and for students to participate.
Thank you.
I just want to, I love the presentation. Thank you so much for putting a lot of information in there. I actually think the financial benefit will be higher for WJCS just because of billing things that, whatever. I will say I do have a little, I guess, not concern, that's the wrong, I have a caution with expectations for the amount. What is the expectations, I should say, for the amount of students? Because a general and an outpatient clinic and a regular outpatient clinic, about 30 is high. So somewhere between 24 and 27 a week are the expected amounts of students that can be hit. So if the person is also, the therapist is also expected to do some, I think you said, support and training to the school staff, if they're expected to sit in on MTSS meetings, that's going to take away time for face-to-face individual sessions. So if we have 24 to 27 patients a week, and then there's time taken away, that would reduce the amount of students that can be seen.
Well, it's
So
also prioritizing, the needs.
Okay.
So, the student takes priority over attending an MTSS meeting. So they will be invited to attend and provide insight, but doesn't mean that they're going to attend all of the MTSS meetings that the school district has. So, and I think the anticipation for, they did provide us with, go ahead.
So when you spoke about their numbers were worked based on estimates, so they're assuming 3 services a day, 5 days a week, 44 weeks. So that's how they worked out their...
Three services, so they're counting at 15 patients a week. 3 services
Yes.
a day? Okay, so that's a little bit more realistic
And that's how
they're
they
gonna
work their numbers.
additionally do,
Yeah.
okay.
And just to say too, some of the services and students that are referred, like the referrals and the services might not be year-long, they might be a certain amount of months, so that it will be a, intake and outtake of students throughout. Once you get referred, you're not automatically with that WJCS forever. It might be a temporary situation or a connection to outside supports. And through WJCS, we have links to all the community resources through them. So again, like you said, it's complementary and supplementary to what we already do as a district.
Hi, thank you for presentation. Can you go back to the slide? That was the breakdown of the investments. Yep, there we go. Ding, ding. Okay. On this, now, we talked about this being a grant. Now, isn't a grant in totality at 100%? The reason I ask is because the expenses, right? Let's say this is a one-time grant, but we want to continue. How would the funding happen if that's the case? And I may have missed this, I'm sorry.
I
know,
hope
but that
I'm
doesn't mean anything.
Oh, I'm sorry.
I'm sorry, I was talking to Trustee Mears. But go ahead, I'm sorry.
I'm hoping I'm answering your question. So what we have, first I want to make clear what we have here is WJCS expenses, what they anticipate expending in order to provide the services to Greenburgh Central School District, which will total out of their pocket estimated $181,000. What their revenue they'll get through Medicaid and those other commercial self-pay, and then what's remaining that they need, it would be $73,000. How they get the $73,000 is through the Office of Mental Health. There's a $25,000 grant, and from us, we would be contributing only $50,000. I shouldn't say only, but yes, it's only $50,000 to get all these services, and we had the RECOVS grant. If we had started it during the RECOVS period, it would have been the RECOVS grant that was used, right? But we're starting it after. We have already identified and allotted funds through IDEA, the 611, 619 grants to cover it, so it's not coming out of the general funds. Right? And IDEA is an annual, so it would be expectation to put that in every single year.
All right, so it's not going to expire within the next 5 years is what I'm trying to get at.
No.
Okay. What about that Office of Mental Health grant? How's that one work?
Well, that we are putting forth an approval. I don't know how that works. That's money that's not related to us, but we are approving for the $50,000. We are agreeing that all this will happen, and our contribution would be only $50,000.
Okay.
WJCS is just sharing with us how they worked out to get that amount.
In the event we don't get the 25, let's say that Office of Mental Health grant is kapoosh, is gone. Do they have a backup plan at all, or have they talked about it? Is that something that'll be here for the next 5 years, or it is? Okay.
They're submitting, because they're submitting to the Office of Mental Health for approval. So we would know, based on the approval, if everything in there is approved. Does that make sense?
It does. I was just thinking future, forward thinking. That's where I was trying to get at.
Yeah,
for that 25K.
We would be approved. We would have to go through the approval process.
She's saying, is it a yearly grant? Like, is it going to, and then next year, what if OMH doesn't?
What's the timeline? Because, some grants could be a year, some grants could be 5, because some could be 10. So.
No. Our understanding is they go through the approval process one time through the Office of Mental Health.
Okay.
And that approval continues the grant from the Office of Mental Health.
Okay. All right. Thank you.
And I just want to clarify, does everybody know what IDEA, the idea is?
The special education federal funds that we receive. So it's under 611, 619, or what's they're coded, but that's the special education federal funds that we receive.
It's the Individuals with Disability Education Act.
I apologize, yes.
How do we use the Individual Disabilities Education Act funds if this is not a special education program?
So we are able to, because it's mental health. So it deals with mental health, which falls under the umbrella of PPS special education.
Thank you, Trustee Jacobson.
One more question. In terms of the launch, I know we're going to have the ribbon cutting and the opening of the space. How are this offering communicated to families and students specifically? From my understanding, this clinic is open to all Greenburgh students. So obviously that would include not just Woodland students. So how are other students finding out about this, being aware of what's available to them and to their families, so that we're giving consistent information?
So our plan is, one, to introduce the individual that's hired in different areas and different platforms. So we're really going to go on a tour, really. We'll go on a tour. We'll have meetings such as these. We'll go to PTA meetings as well. So it's really about getting the word out. So we'll go to different committees to also get the word out, but also to have that, we have a PR person that can have the launch on our website, but it also will be prominently placed on our PPS site as well.
And then just going back to the MTSS tiered interventions, so there'll be a lot of discussion next year about the tiered interventions, both academically, behaviorally, social, emotional, and attendance-wise. So all the staff will have a universal language and understanding of what the tiered supports are, and this would, of course, be embedded into that knowledge share.
And then I may have missed this, I apologize. So following the approval, they will hire the staff. Does anyone from administration play a part in them hiring the staff? No, so they're just gonna send the best person that can fit our community or whomever. Okay.
We make recommendations of what we're looking for and the types of concerns that we have, whether it be substance abuse, eating disorders, we kind of describe what we're looking for, and then they match the profile to the candidates.
I just have one more question about the money again. I'm hopefully believing that the revenue is going to be higher than what is anticipated, just because I know the rate of billable service is higher for school-based clinics. So if that does end up higher, is there a review yearly or throughout the year of the budgeting with WJCS, or are we just locked in to committing $50,000? So if they're making more, is there ever a time in which maybe we don't have to give, or we give less because it's a lucrative thing? Does it get reviewed? The actual numbers, or not? It's
So I don't have an answer to that, but I know that we will renew a contract every year. So that's some of the questions that we can ask WJCS. In terms of what they've shared with us, they did share with us, their annual sheet, and I'm assuming that this would happen every year. So we are renewing the contract every year, or you are renewing the contract every year when we present the contract every year. So, but our commitment every year is $50,000.
Okay, thank you. Trustee Long?
Is WJCS a for-profit or a nonprofit?
These are like Jeopardy questions. I will have to find out. I'm not certain.
I think they're for-profit, though.
We'll look it up.
I would think they were for-profit.
Yeah.
But as you saw in the slide presentation, we did list several of the providers in Westchester. So again, if we pilot it this year and we decide that they're not the partner that we need, we have others we can explore in the area.
.501c, nonprofit. Thank you, business office. So I think that with the understanding of where Governor Hochul wants us to go, and I think this speaks to who we are as Greenburgh as well, in terms of social emotional learning, caring about the whole child, looking at the needs, not just in the academic, but in the emotional needs of our students, the mental health needs of our students. We are putting forth $50,000 for a $186,000 service. I think even considering that, and then the RECOV's money actually assisted us with more than 25, but specifically $25,000 so that we can construct a wall at no cost to the general funds, so that we can create a space to provide us with SEL techs that are sitting in my office ready to be distributed for that we actually looked through these texts to make sure that we had things that spoke to neurodivergent students with all different types of needs, that actually assisted us with spaces, furniture to be able to be placed in spaces. So we're speaking about the clinic. I just want to also acknowledge the RECUBS grant, what it was allowed us to do in terms of meeting the needs and speaking to who we are as Greenburgh. So.
Sorry, one more. You're not off the hook yet. What does success look like with this clinic, and what does failure look like?
So I explained in the beginning of the presentation that it is a little personal for me, because when you walk through these hallways and you see, the students and how you impact them as a special education and PPS department, what I see as success is impacting more students, not having these students go into the hospital, and having a place for assistance and help that's right here for them. So that's the success I see. The failure would be the opposite, where the students are hospitalized, and I say that, and I say that heavy because it's not just one student that's hospitalized, it's many students that are hospitalized, and some of the challenges that these students experience, it's well beyond what our providers can do. And they have come to me and have shared with me that it is very difficult for them. And they try their best to help and support, but they can only do so much. So success is also having these providers come to me and being able to help other populations in our schools, not just those that are in crisis.
And also, and I'm sure Trustee Jacobson could also give some feedback, but for me, success would look like, our staff understanding the difference between self-injury and actual suicidality. It would look like a change in conversation amongst the students, being able to express themselves, being able to have better emotional regulation, and when they're having normal teenage angst that can be a little rocky, being able to communicate with different language so that everyone feels safe, the student, the peers, as well as the adults, and knowing what's happening with a particular student, less hospitalizations, less panic for the staff in how to deal with a situation, better communication between home and school about what's going on. So those things will take a little bit of time, but that to me would show some success in the emotional and mental health well-being of the school districts, right? I think across, and it's not just, I don't think, a Greenburgh issue, I think across obviously the state, but across the country, our students are struggling, right? And so this is, I think, a great way to address some of these issues. It's just, the board, it's a major change, so the board definitely has lots of questions about it, and there is a document that you guys are looking at with questions from the board to be able to clarify for us. So we appreciate that. Are there any other questions, comments? I just want to say it is 11 o'clock at night. So we truly appreciate you guys staying, because you stayed for a very long time. I'm sure you started work early this morning. You have your own families to go home to. You did not sign up for very, very late nights all the time. The board did. I don't know why we do it. But you guys, we really do appreciate you. And this was a great presentation, I think. And so thank you.
Thank you.
Trustees, let's go back up and try to keep moving. It's 11 o'clock. Let's just keep swimming. Okay. It's late. Tired. I'm tired. It's late. But the yawn is catchy? What's loud? The fan?
Oh, the yawning.
Oh, it's catchy, I know. Okay, what's next? I gotta open my computer. The paper agenda, I always get lost in it. Okay. We have 4 trustees, 1, 2, 3, okay. Okay, trustees, thank you for a little bit of the change in the presentation. So we're going to go back to item I2, opening the public hearing on the district-wide safety plan, and you should have a copy of that printed here for you. Can I get a motion?
I move that we open the public hearing on the district-wide safety plan.
Second.
It's been properly moved and seconded. Is there any discussion? This public, hearing none, all those in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? Any abstentions? Motion carries. The public hearing is now open. It will remain open for a minimum of 30 days. It is anticipated that the hearing will close at a special meeting of the Board of Education in August at a date and time that will be publicly noticed on the district calendar, in school buildings, and in the Journal News. Any member of the GCSD community who would like to provide feedback, that's community, parents, students, staff, administration, anyone who would like to provide feedback on this district-wide safety plan is welcome to email the district clerk at districtclerk@greenburghcsd.org or call 914-761-6000, extension 3114. Thank you. Next, we have reports. Board President's report. Welcome to the 26-27 school year. I just want to say it is very late, so I'm going to move quickly through the rest of the agenda. And the board is scheduled to have a board retreat on July 22nd and 23rd of next week. It is publicly posted. People can come but may not be able to participate, but they can observe the public items on the retreat that we are going to discuss. We have not cemented everything, but one of the things we're definitely going to be looking at is our strategic plan, and we are in the final year of our strategic plan 26-27, and we are aligning the ending strategic plan with a new strategic plan, and that development process is beginning. So that's one of the things that we will work on, but there may be some executive session items that we also work on later. Again, it's a 2-day retreat, the 22nd and the 23rd of next week. Next, we have committee and liaison reports. Are there any reports from the audit committee? Yes, Trustee Valen?
Yes, because the audit committee is actually meeting next Tuesday, July 21st at 5:30 p.m. in the Woodlands Middle High School Little Theater to review the draft results of the internal audit intensive review.
I did not hear you very well, but hopefully the camera picked up the dates and times. Hopefully. Next, we have the Community Engagement Committee. Is there a report?
The CEC attended the Edward Eller Memorial Field Dedication Ceremony on June 15th at 7 p.m. Edward Eller was the first black superintendent of buildings and grounds for Greenburgh Central Schools. Together with Pat Capone, he built and maintained the original field for the students of Woodlands. Community member Rita Jones and the WMHS retired custodian Willie James nominated Mr. Eller. Speakers included Superintendent Dr. Chisholm, Trustee David Warner, who gave a history lesson, Willie Taylor, who is Eller's son, Willie James, who worked for Eller, Reverend Kevin James, Board of Education President Tracy Mayers, and State Senator Andrea Stewart Cousins, who contributed $500,000 for the track. The next meeting of the CEC will be 9/14 at LFJ, 7 p.m. All are welcome.
Thank you, Trustee Warner. And the district calendar is currently being finalized, and some of the CEC meetings are on the district calendar. One of the things, if you've been following our meetings, the board had a brief discussion on in public and decided to do was have a Board of Education town hall style meeting. And one of the things we would like to do, I believe, talk to the chair of the CEC committee, is to have that during one of our CEC meetings, tentatively in October, which would be the October 8th date. And so I just want to put that out there. There will be a lot more information about that with our PR, new PR person, promoting the Board of Education town hall style meeting where you can come and ask the hot button questions you would like to ask, get to know the board members, get to know how the board works, etc. Yes, Trustee Valen?
Sorry, we're announcing dates, but I just want to ask, are the dates confirmed by our administration as the dates that will be officially published on that calendar, or are these still tentative dates?
These are still tentative dates. I'm just returning today, and so I have not had a chance to sit down and discuss the calendar.
So again, we're tentatively looking at the October CEC meeting. Okay. Any other questions, comments? No. Next, we have our Education Committee. Do we have a report for the Education Committee? Finance Committee? Facilities Committee?
I gave my report at the last meeting. The next meeting, tentatively scheduled, is September 10th at 6:30 p.m. at the Woodlands High School Innovation Lab. And we're going to have to schedule a walkthrough, and that's going to be based upon the board's availability prior to school opening. So we need to look for a date for that.
Thank you, Trustee Warner. Governance and Policy Committee? Wellness Committee?
In the interest of time, I'll make it very quick. We do not have dates set for the tentatively or not, but we will definitely be looking for community members and parents and students to join this year, as it is a district-wide committee. And we're also excitingly anticipating the food feedback form, which will be available hopefully at the rollout of the new school year. So when you have comments, concerns, questions, ideas about food services, there will be a form that is accessible year-round that Whitsons can see the results so that they can provide new things, corrections, whatever you want to call them, as the year progresses.
Okay. And the Safety Committee?
Okay, we met the last week of school. I forget the date, but we talked about the quick wins we had this year, which I was happy about. So one of them was putting out there the survey. Oh gosh, Dr. Chisholm is late. What was the name of that thing again? School climate? Yeah.
Education School Climate Survey, yes, correct.
Yes, thank you. So we looked at that, some of the results, but I know from a building level that will be tackled, I think, as some of the school year, the goals for this school year, I believe, with administration. So we did that. And then last but not least, the other quick win we had was that the DA, she came and spoke to a PTA group. So that was good. So that was us collaborating with other organizations, part of our school community. So I am so happy with our goals and our quick wins. We did a great job, didn't we? Trustee Sampalayo and President Mears? We did. So that's all I got. We got to see what happens next year. I hear that there are talks that we may be combined with some other group. So more collaboration.
Yes, so the board does need to, we're not going to get that done tonight, but we do need to sit and talk about committees for next year, combining them and or not combining them. Hopefully we will combine some so that we can get through the work a little bit more efficiently. But yes, we need to have those conversations. Next we have how come I can't see this on here?
Technology.
Tech Committee.
Next we have the Technology Committee. Thank you.
Also, to be quick, I highly recommend everyone download the app, and once the calendar is solidified, to subscribe on the website so that it populates to your phone. And so if there's changes, it will be updated in real time. We ended the year wrapping up the new AI policy, and we will, I would petition that we should have a technology committee so we can continue updating and reinvigorating our policy, because right now our tech policy is super duper old and it needs some work. So hopefully that will be this year.
Okay, thank you. And school programs / liaisons? Are there any, listen, school's been closed, so I'm not asking you to say anything.
Well,
okay.
It's a
Yes.
little old
Go ahead,
now.
Trustee Warner.
Okay, this is what I prepared back in June. Lee F. Jackson had its first grade moving up ceremony on June 16th at 9:45 a.m. The kids sang 3 songs: "The Future is Looking Good to Me," "Dreams," and "We Are Thankful for LFJ," all with clapping and hand motions. Then they attended parties with their parents in their individual classrooms. The parties included refreshments, certificates of completion for the first grade, class videos of events throughout the year, and All About Me profiles and art projects. A good time was had by all.
Thank you. And are there any partner liaisons, updates, or committees? Comments? No? Hearing none. We'll move on to our superintendent's report.
Thank you. Good evening, President, Mayors, Board, Trustees, community. I'm going to keep mine short for the sake of time. I think that one thing that's jumping out at me most immediately is the fact that our summer program has commenced here across 2 campuses between R.J. Bailey and the Woodlands Middle High School. With that said, I wanted to share that we did send out some communication to parents today to cancel outdoor activities due to the air quality, so we'll continue to monitor that as well as the temperatures throughout the summer. We did send out a communication to parents already in regards to the spaces that we're utilizing that are air conditioned, but we're going to, again, make sure that we're following procedures and safety and wellness and health of our students as well as our staff. More things to come. I'll share them at the next board meeting, though, so I'll postpone and pass the mic.
Okay. Next on our agenda is Assistant Superintendent for Curriculum, Dr. Njoku.
Good morning. Good morning. Oh, dear.
Oh, God.
I'm so sorry. Good evening. Outside of the presentation, I just want to, I think it's very important that I acknowledge the work that a group of our teachers and administrators did in preparing and presenting where we are thus far in our instructional focus of productive student discourse at the Deeper Learning New York conference through Ulster BOCES. It's not always, we get excited about the idea that we've been accepted to present somewhere. But then when you actually do the work of preparing, it's those conversations that you have in preparing to share your work when you know it's not completed. It's not finished work, and that was something that Ulster BOCES Deeper Learning, it's deeper learning because we were going through a deep dive in what we were thinking, stops and starts around making student thinking visible and using conversation, student discourse productively to do so, and where we could go. And we learned a lot from our colleagues from across the state. We are all having very similar conversations, and part of that conversation was about leading in an AI world and leading thinking in an AI environment. And many of the conversations are the same, and one thing that resonates is relationships and connection. People. We have to remember that we are people. We have to find spaces and create conditions where we build relationships, and students are free to think, and adults are free to think as well. So I wanted to thank those individuals. That's Dr. Faruqi, Ms. Khan, Ms. Torres, Ms. DeAndrea, and Ms. Cannon.
Thank you, Dr. Njoku. Next, we have our Assistant Superintendent of Business.
Good evening. I'm going to start by reading the May 2026 Treasurer's Report. For May of 2026, the general fund beginning balance was $44,974,265.87. The district received a total of $10,446,718.42 in receipts. We issued $3,468,239.28 in payroll checks, $3,570,677.42 in accounts payable disbursements, and $14,495,257.91 in due from other funds. The ending balance for the general fund was $33,886,809.68 as detailed above. For the month of May 2026, the district issued 952 payroll checks and 246 accounts payable disbursements. All disbursements were audited by the claims auditor. I don't have anything else to report. Are there any questions?
No, but I know there's a couple of questions that don't have to necessarily do with your report, but that fall underneath the business office. So I don't know if people want to ask them now, they want to ask them later in board discussion. I'm open. I hear no questions yet, so we'll keep going. Next is committee selection. So we talked about consolidating our committees. Again, it's very late. It's almost midnight. It's 11:30. I don't think we're going to get to this tonight, but we do have some recommendations from our administration, and maybe we need to put that on our agenda for the retreat to kind of narrow down. So if everyone can really take some time to look at these, I will just share from what I see. I wonder where we will fit in community engagement committee, maybe shared decision making. I'm not sure, but that's just something to keep in mind.
I'm sorry, what did you say? That fan. Do we need it? Do we need the fan on?
You can't hear me?
you.
Hello?
Now I can.
I was saying, just from this, I'm wondering.
It has to be something separate because I don't think board members will share decisions.
Got you. Okay. So I was wondering, yes?
Can't hear nothing. I apologize. It would have to be separate because shared decision-making does not include board members.
Okay. So that's the only thing I would, wonder what else to put here. So trustees, look at this and, keep things in mind for the retreat. Good? Okay, let's keep going. Next, we have personnel instructional items. I would like a motion, however, I am going to abstain from item M1. So I don't know if there's any other items under personnel instructional that we need to separate out. If not, can someone please give a motion?
I move that we approve item M1 and the instructional personnel items presented to the board for approval this evening.
It's been properly moved in second. Is there any discussion? Hearing none.
What are we doing? I can't hear. That fan,
I'm so sorry. We're talking about M1, which is a retitling.
Yeah.
We're going from, the recommendation is that we go from Assistant Superintendent for Curriculum Instruction Programs and Personnel to Assistant Superintendent for Teaching and Learning. And I'm just saying I'm going to abstain, so I wanted this separate from the rest of them.
Okay.
And we were at the discussion phase. So if there's no discussion, let's I know we have to poll the board, but I
No,
guess
wait.
all those.
Wait.
Do you have?
Maybe, yeah, you moving
okay.
too fast. So trustee Warner was doing something. Were you trying to approve the motion? And then trustee Mayers, you said I'm abstaining, and now we're trying to go and approve it, or is it up for discussion?
So the motion's on the board, on the
Okay.
table.
Okay.
He made the motion, it was seconded, now we're discussing.
Great. I have a question.
Sure.
All right, so just so I can understand, and I'm sorry, we probably have talked about this a million times. The difference between the position, is there a difference between, I guess, the task or the day-to-days that you do now versus what you used to do? Only because I know with this new title, I don't see anything about programs. So when I think about programs, I think about, the MBK or whatever other programs that used to fall in your area. Would that still be a part of this, even though the title has teaching and learning? Because when I think of teaching and learning, I think of teachers and students teaching and learning, but programs like I said, MBK, does that still fall under your umbrella, even though it's not specifically stated in the title? Yes. Okay.
And any other thing the superintendent, sorry.
You gotta yell. I can't hear.
That is typical of both titles. So typically you see Assistant Superintendent of Curriculum and Instruction. You might see Curriculum Instruction and Assessments. You might see Teaching and Learning. But programs are part of what I do.
Okay.
And it's also any responsibilities that the superintendent deems appropriate for me to do as well.
Okay.
She can designate me.
Okay. So I guess the programs would fall under the learning umbrella part if someone was to ask, let's just say. Because again, now we just have teaching and learning. Before it was kind of split out. Would it fall under that umbrella? I'm just trying to think of the...
It could technically fall under both.
Okay.
So programming is not just MBK, because that can be
I was
considered
just throwing something out
extracurricular.
there.
Programming could
Right.
be the curriculum program. Programming can be a pedagogy in terms of instructional practice.
Okay.
So it can fall under both the teaching and the learning.
Okay. Thank you.
Okay, any other discussion? Hearing none, all those in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? Any abstentions? Aye. And motion carries. Okay, can I get a motion for 2 through, unless anyone would like an individual poll, 2 through 23?
I move that we approve items 2 through 20 and instructional personnel items presented to the board for the approval this evening.
Second.
It's been properly moved in second. Yes, trustee Valen.
Couldn't hear trustee Warner. Did you say 2 through?
23.
Thank you.
Okay, any more discussion? Hearing none, all those in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? Any abstention? Motion carries. We have items N, personnel non-instructional.
I move that we approve the non-instructional personnel items presented to the board for approval this evening.
Second.
It's been properly moved in second. Any discussion? Hearing none, all those in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? Any abstentions? Motion carries. O, board action items.
I move that we approve the board action items presented to the board for approval this evening.
Second.
It's been properly moved in second. Any discussion? Hearing none, all those in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? Any abstentions? Motion carries. P, finance items.
I move that we approve the finance items presented to the board for approval this evening.
Second.
It's been properly moved and seconded. Any discussion? Hearing none. All those in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? Any abstentions? Motion carries. I know we have business items where,
I move that we approve the business items presented to the board for approval this evening with the exception of item Q9, which is tabled.
Second.
it's been properly moved and seconded. Any discussion? Hearing none. All those in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? Any abstentions? Motion carries. Item R, pupil personnel services items.
I move that we approve the pupil personnel services items presented to the board for approval this evening.
Second.
It's been properly moved and seconded. Any discussion? Hearing none. All those in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? Any abstentions? Motion carries. Now we have S, closing items, new business. Is there any new business?
Well, I think I missed my shot, but F3 in our meeting, well, not in a meeting, on the agenda, that was touching upon the start time for the Board of Education work sessions at 6:30. I think we all approved it, but I did want to table that or put something, because 6:30, when you don't work in Westchester, it's hard to get to a meeting on time. And I did want to revisit that, but if we do, could it be during the retreat?
Sure. The only issue, I don't know when the calendar is going to be finalized, but what would you recommend? Or what is your proposal about?
I would like a start time at 7, just like we do for our regular meetings.
So both of the meetings to start at 7. I would personally support that individually because I also don't work in Westchester and can't seem to get here right at 6:30 all of the time. But I know that different folks have different opinions. So I definitely think we should maybe go around and poll the board about this. If we'd like to revote, you can always make another motion. No, she could just motion for that one thing. Yes, Trustee Valen?
I'll answer both things. If there was consensus on making a change, we would rescind the already approved motion and then have a new motion to do a resolution as amended, if that's the consensus.
Okay.
Now, going back to we're talking as trustees, I will say I do observe the difficulty in getting here for 6:30. I will just note that this is for our work sessions, which tend to be our longer meetings because it's preparation for ideally, the regular meetings that are just voting, and thinking of the time spent in those planning meetings and our staff. I'm hesitant to say starting later. I just feel like we're going to keep ending later on that long meeting, and that's all I'm going to say on the topic right now.
Okay. Do other trustees want to chime in? No? Sure, let's go around.
Well, that's what you said, we were going around. I do agree with Trustee Valen. I don't love the idea. Can you hear me? Can you hear me now?
We can hear you. I can hear you.
It's on.
Can we turn up? I mean, with the meeting's almost over, but.
Hello?
We can hear you.
I don't love the idea, but if it's for the greater good, I would be okay starting at 7, but I'm terrified of how long the meetings will go.
Okay.
Because it's a struggle later at night.
It's a struggle. I mean, we started at 6:30 today. It's 11:37.
I basically feel very similarly to Trustee Sampaleo that I think the goal is that all 7 of us can be here to do business. And I think if moving it back to 7 accomplishes that, I think that I would support that. And I think we just work really hard to not be here till the next day.
Ditto.
Trustee Long.
That's my line. I think I've repeated this every single year that I've been here. I do appreciate the difficulties of 6:30. I don't appreciate how long our meetings tend to be, and I think we need to make a concerted effort to stick to an agenda and to make our meetings as efficient as possible. I would support 7 only if I would support it if everyone voted for it either way, but only if we really made an effort to condense our meetings and make them more efficient and stick to topics and do our homework ahead of time, and, well, we all know.
Okay, so who made the motion? I mean, we could make a new motion. It doesn't have to be rescinded, but who made the motion? Trustee Warner, it's up to you if you want to rescind. If you don't, then it would have to be a new motion.
I move that we change the start time for all work sessions to
Right.
7 p.m.
You just make a new motion. You would make a new motion. Because it's simply the start times of the work sessions. It's not necessarily all of this. Or you could rescind, I mean, he did F in a block and kind of a consent vote. Yeah. So it would have to be a new motion.
Second.
Just for, yeah, okay. So he moved and seconded. Listen, as district clerk, you are more of the expert on the motions than I am. Tell me what you think. Yes, Trustee Sampalayo?
It is very hard to hear up here. I believe you're saying, instead of rescinding the motion, you're suggesting, I have to think through, you're saying, hold on, I have to think through, I could hear you partially.
I was saying, if he's not...
We can do a new motion, since we've already approved meetings at X dates, at X places, at X times, we could do a new motion,
Just on the
changing
time.
the starting time of our work sessions to
Yeah.
7 p.m.
Right,
and
that's
then
what
that
he
would
means.
follow the original, so that would be a change, or we could rescind the original and do a new one.
I know, I'm kind of looking to Ivy, too. Chime in.
She's gonna.
So
So I heard Trustee Warner start to make a motion.
He did. He
believe
made
I
a motion
heard-
and it was
I believe
seconded.
I heard, because it's hard to hear, to change the start time for all meetings, is what he said, to 7 p.m.
Work sessions.
All work sessions
Correct.
for the 26-27 school year to 7 p.m. I heard a motion, I did not hear a second.
Yeah,
Thank you.
Erin seconded it.
Do you want me to do a roll call vote?
Sure, please.
Okay. Trustee Mans?
What, am I voting?
It's not. Trustee Long?
I'm sorry, did you want me to say yay or nay?
I saw a nod. Is that a yay?
Of course, I suggested it. I didn't know I had to do a vote, but
Trustee Long?
double yes.
Nay.
Trustee Warner?
Yes.
Trustee Jacobson?
Yes.
Trustee Sampalayo?
Yes.
Trustee Valen? I'll say nay because it's going to pass. Trustee Mayor?
Yes.
Okay, the motion passes.
And honestly,
Therefore-
it's only 30 minutes, guys. Come on. Come on. Our regular sessions are another work session. Let's
It's
keep
not
it real.
30 minutes
Let's
because we're
keep
going
it
to work
real.
really hard to break it even shorter.
Say what? The fan.
It's not 30 minutes because we're going to work really hard to end meetings sooner.
I
That
move
part.
that we close
So we'll be
discussion on
fine.
this item and move on.
So is there any other new business? I do have a new business. I'm really sorry because it's late, but trust me, I get up at 5:30. So of all people to complain, I'm making myself more crazy. It's not really new business, it's truly discussion, but we do need to talk about the science labs. So lots of folks are concerned. We did approve science labs. We did start the process for construction for the science labs, which is a whole process of approvals and bids and hiring companies and working with architects and engineers. However, the project has not begun, as in construction has not started. And lots of folks are anxious about that. So do you want to give us an update on that so that we can clarify what exactly is going on?
Absolutely. So just so everybody knows, since probably about the beginning of June, we have been having bi-weekly meetings with all of the contractors and the construction manager and the architects. During that time, they need to submit documentation to us to get cleared by NYSER for their insurance, and also through our legal counsel for the bonds. Unfortunately, there have been some delays in getting them cleared through NYSER. I don't want to publicly put the blame on anybody, but I know that there are a lot of other districts that are having similar situations with NYSER. As of today, I can tell you that 2 of our 4 contractors have been cleared by both legal and NYSER. The other 2 have submitted the documentation today that was requested, and we're hoping by early next week to get clearance from NYSER. We do realize that the delay in the project starting is going to impact the end date, so we have now started to meet weekly, and administration, along with the BBS, Palumbo, the building principal, we're all going to try to come up with a contingency plan to be able to reassign temporarily the 5 classrooms that will be impacted come September, since the project probably is not going to be completed by then due to the late start.
Do trustees have any questions or comments? My only request, I guess it's a little difficult, so you can say no if you want. But Dr. Chisholm, my only request is to maybe have something on the website, like an update that people can follow, if it's happening or if it's not, or we're still in the review phase, or some sort of, and maybe that's with all of the building work. I know there's work going on at Lee F. Jackson as well. Someone told me there's a machine there, parked there, and so I guess they're going to be starting work. I don't know if they've not started yet. Okay, so can there be some sort of, I don't know, like a update that people can...
A link to ongoing projects with little snippet updates somewhere.
Yeah, the only thing that was mentioned today is that it's very difficult to create a timeline currently because we don't have an official start date. So we're hoping by next Thursday's meeting that we will have an official start date. Some of the, like let's say for instance, they get cleared by NYSER Wednesday or Thursday. Some of the contractors need a week's notice before they can come back because they are on other projects. So at that point, though, we will have an actual start date, and then a updated timeline can be projected from that point forward.
Trustee Along?
Is it not possible to start the project with the 2 contractors that are approved? Is there anything?
No, I asked the same question today. The 2 that are approved is the electrician and the plumber. So the first thing that needs to happen is the abatement, the pre-abatement, and then the abatement, and that is with your general contractor. So unfortunately, that's not an option.
And we did ask that question.
Okay, any other comments? Okay, hearing none, and maybe if you do decide to do, if you do decide to do some sort of an updated page or running thing, maybe have a link for people to ask questions, maybe,
No, absolutely.
So that-
If you'd like, I could give you a little update on the Jackson roof, because you mentioned about something being over there.
Okay.
So we are currently waiting for Milcon, who is our contractor for the Jackson roof, to be cleared by NYSER. We're hoping that's going to happen early next week. They did ask if they could have a delivery of some of the materials. So that is what you actually see on the site. We do not have any students in that building this summer. So we're hoping that that project is able to start by the end of next week. But I'll keep you updated.
Thank you.
Okay, Highview roof and water main.
Highview is almost done. I want to say they took a little hiatus for a little bit because we had some rainy weather, but I'm told that they were starting back up, I think, yesterday, and the projected completion for that is the end of July. So that project is ahead of schedule. The water main project, so we have, with the water main project, we have two ends, right? So I'm going to speak first to the Stone Oaks end. I am told that our legal counsel received communication from Stone Oaks attorney yesterday. They are currently reviewing it, and they will probably be reporting to the district, I would say tomorrow or Monday at the latest. As far as the Pinewoods end, I did reach out to BBS for an update. They said that they had received the proposal from JABCO, that they were reviewing it, and that they would be reporting back to the district by Monday as well.
Thank you.
Thank you. Is there any other new business? Hearing none, can I get a motion for adjournment?
I move that we adjourn this meeting.
It's been properly moved and seconded. Is there any discussion? Hearing none, all those in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? Any abstention? Motion carried. We are adjourned. The time is now 11:51 p.m. Good night.